display this a little better. There we go. So that you can still see, and I think by the time we get through the formalities, we should have a copy over here, hopefully.
Ready to go?
I am.
Okay, very good. September 18th, 6:01, I call the meeting to order. We have a quorum. First thing is pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Steve. Appreciate it. I don't know why my computer suddenly didn't print. But,
Thank you.
thank you. There you go. Yep,
We have
thank you.
roll call.
Oh, there's a couple things on it.
Tim's here,
John is here.
Bridget's here.
and on the line, we have Ally and Nandu. So we have a quorum.
And Robin Doty, Library Director.
Sure.
Our ex officio called me to Mayor Lenahan has a conflicting board position, meeting with the North Plains Event Association, and, she gave me a few items to pass along to you. But because she's the secretary, she had to, get a conflict, so she's gonna try to switch with someone and attend our next.
Okay, that'd be great.
And
Well,
Larry's excused.
And Larry's still in Italy, I believe, right?
I mean,
Somewhere.
we grudgingly, excuse him.
He said it, didn't he say Italy?
Yeah, I don't remember.
I don't remember.
I thought he
Could
said
be-
Italy,
Could be.
because I know that I turned purple,
The jealousy. Huh?
yeah. All right, so. Any corrections or additions to the agenda?
I do have one, our staff member Yenny, is out today, and is sad that she couldn't introduce herself, but will be sure to join our next meeting. So we can remove that piece of the agenda, which was
Okay.
number 7.
Oh, okay.
Perfect.
All right,
And one item to add, which is to, for the board to approve Larry Gonzalez as the representative on the relook committee.
Oh, he agreed to.
Yes,
okay,
and so we can add that if you'd like in place of
Same.
number 7.
yeah, sounds great. So we
Relook
have a
committee.
deletion of the meeting engagement specialist Jenna Perez, and we have an addition of supporting Larry Gonzalez as our library board member on the what's it called?
It's
The
the
RAC.
relook committee, advisory committee.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
All right, and that's good. Everybody, I assume, has reviewed the minutes. Any corrections or additions?
Nope.
Okay, I'll need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I make a motion that we approve the consent to the agenda,
Okay,
consent agenda.
for a second.
okay. Bridget has made a motion to approve the consent agenda, and Donna second. All those in favor, raise your right hand.
You can say I, Nandu, if you can't turn your camera on.
Aye.
Okay. The consent agenda was approved. Okay, any public, there's nobody here from the public is there any public comments that came in? Over the,
I have not received any.
okay. Very good, okay. Next item on the agenda was the addition of, nominating and voting to approve Larry Gonzalez as our representative on the, what's it called, the RAC? The RAC list. And what-
Chair Charlotte, may I just make a comment?
Yeah,
So it's the Relook Advisory Committee.
oh, relook.
And what, basically each board and commission of the city has a representative on, spot on this committee. And the responsibility of that individual is to represent the body of the board he or she serves on. Not their own personal views, but, to bring forward the views of the board. And, Larry Gonzalez has, volunteered to be the board representative. And so, when we do the motion, we'll also make sure we have a spot for discussion
Okay,
after the,
what's the A stand for? Relook?
it's the advisory committee. So
Advisory.
this committee's gonna give recommendations to city council
Yeah.
for the urban growth boundary, the next,
Over.
the next line that would be possible over the next however many years, to expand the city limits into, but it doesn't include zoning or anything. This is just a line only. The zoning comes later with more community participation. This is only identifying a line.
Okay.
Is that for the urban growth boundary line or the city line? Or is that,
This is the
'cause that seems
potential growth of
different
the
things.
city. Urban growth boundary line is the line that you're saying the city
can go into?
can grow inside that boundary. Because you want to make sure you're, following the land use law when you identify future growth areas. State of Oregon is very strict on expansion,
Mhm.
to avoid sprawl. They have a strict process.
So I think there becomes the new city limits line is.
It doesn't automatically.
Oh, it doesn't.
So the owners would have to, first of all,
Oh,
choose to be asked to be annexed in to the
Oh, okay.
city.
Yeah,
Okay.
And it's their choice.
I thought the two are two different things. But the urban growth boundary encompasses so much where to limit sprawl, but it didn't necessarily mean it was part of the city outside of that.
It doesn't automatically become
Yeah,
part of the
okay.
city. It's just it's a line. Nothing changes except there's this now line identified. So, for example, someone who owns property that's outside the city limits right now, but
Mhm.
it's inside the new urban growth boundary line, they could sell their property to a developer,
Mhm.
and then it could be rezoned
okay,
and built upon.
okay,
However, the owner of the property is under no obligation to sell or to change anything they're doing. If it's a farm, that farmer can keep farming and there's no requirement.
Right.
And any zone changes wouldn't go into effect unless it changed ownership. You know, if the city determines this area is gonna be for, general commercial or something, it wouldn't just automatically change that person's farm to general
Right,
commercial.
right, yeah.
okay.
So that's a very brief, or
Yeah.
giving you my understanding. Aren't those delicious?
Yeah. Okay, so. I need
So we need a discussion on
no,
that.
we needed a motion, I think, to approve Larry as our representative.
We don't have to.
and then we'll discuss
Okay.
after we get the,
Once you have a second,
Motion.
then you would do, you would
do our
Chair, what-
discussion. Is there any discussion there?
yeah, and then,
I
Then
make a
you-
motion that we elect Larry to be our representative for the RAC.
Okay, do I have a second?
Oh, second.
Okay, Donna
Everybody up
seconds.
there's always quiet.
Okay, discussion?
I think Larry would be a very good representative.
I was kind of hoping he would do it and
Mhm.
I was afraid he wouldn't, but yes, I'm glad.
Okay,
Ally.
Ally or Nandu, do you have any discussion? Are you be able to hear us?
Did she mute you?
Okay, good. Okay, I have a motion that we appoint
Muted.
Larry Gonzalez as our representative, representing the library board on the the Relook Advisory Committee for the city of North Plains.
So then you do a vote.
Right. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The motion passes.
We don't have a vote from Nandu yet.
Oh, we don't?
Oh, I was on mute.
Okay, thank you. Okay,
Thank you.
very good. Now we have the library's director report.
All right, let's go down. So I just have an addition to my first item, which is, get back past the minutes here. The WCCLS funding and governance team, project team, which is our consulting team plus the WCCLS management. They will present their assessment of the current state of the library cooperative to the Board of County Commissioners in a work session, and they have set that date as October 22nd. I didn't have the date when I wrote the report, and it it has been scheduled now. And I will be attending in person. It's in downtown Hillsborough. I'm very interested to hear the presentation. The current assessment is the distillation of all that information gathering that the consultants did, including the 18,000 community surveys and surveys that you all filled out, community organizations. North Plains was well represented in the community organization survey, I think I mentioned. Also, staff survey. And then they came and toured every library. They talked to myself and our interim city manager, and they gathered a bunch of information from us, our budgets, all the details about our library, all of our libraries in the cooperative. And so they'll be presenting, what does the cooperative provide now? How are we meeting the identified wished for outcomes? And how much does it cost to do what we're doing now? That's what they're gonna present.
So no recommendations yet.
Nope.
It's just a presentation of the facts.
Nope,
Okay.
and then we start on future state. In fact, I think the first work session for future state is that same week, or
Oh, wow.
might be the week before. I'm also attending that. And that work session will have the executive board, which is the city managers and the library directors, and it's facilitated by county administration and management. And this will be, the first of two work sessions. And I'm sure they'll be working between to make recommendations. And one of the recommendations will be, what should the next levy rate be to make sure we can support
So on October 27th, you said
22nd,
22nd?
22nd.
Oh, okay. Is that open to the public or a working session is? No,
It's a work session, but it's a
public.
public meeting
Meeting,
because
okay.
it's
Is it in the evening or during the? day?
no, I believe it'll be in the afternoon.
Okay.
I don't have the exact time yet. It's not posted yet. It's just was told to us by Lisa Tattersall, our WC sales manager, that was the date.
Okay.
Well, it might be posted now, honestly, I didn't check today. But I think 1 or 2 o'clock is my guess.
That could be
Okay.
interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we would be welcome to it.
Yeah.
As observers.
Absolutely. And they do stream those meetings. I mean, I think it would be great information for
Yeah.
the board.
Mhm.
So you'll send us a reminder of the time
Yeah.
and the day.
Yeah, we'll have another board meeting before that. So it'll be the week before,
Okay.
and I'll make sure there's a reminder. Or we'll have it as an announcement or something.
Great.
That is the update I have on that. I hope to have a update from the consultants for you today. But it hasn't come out yet.
Okay. So, any more on your report?
Oh, well, let's see, I think there was one other, I was just gonna mention one other addition. Which is that Yenny, and I was pronouncing her name incorrectly, originally it is pronounced with a Y sound, Yenny.
Yes,
She's doing a fabulous job, and aside from what I wrote in my report, she met with Melly's restaurant
yeah.
over the weekend, and we're gonna partner with them on a trivia night,
Oh,
Oh.
a monthly trivia night.
Yeah.
Yenny works Wednesday evenings, and so it'll be, once a month on Wednesday evenings, the last Wednesday. And
Oh,
so
that sounds like fun.
our book club sort of fizzled out, our library book club, and we were sort of trying to think, what should we try next, is, and I'm sure we'll have another book club again in the future, but we thought we'd try this, so.
great.
Mhm.
And just a reminder about tomorrow's program.
Could you just touch on that a bit? Brianna was telling me a bit about this woman's story.
Yes,
Judith Ortega.
yes, it's pretty interesting, and this is the last,
She will not be there in person.
she will not be there in person. She went to visit family, have a flyer, so. Yeah. So she went to visit family in Mexico, and they wouldn't issue her a visa to return to her family here. So she actually recorded her presentation, and it'll be played at the session tomorrow. But I think she went to visit, I think her dad maybe was ill or something,
Mhm.
and she was gonna try and get her visa and so forth. I don't know all the details, but they wouldn't let her return, and issue with the visa yet.
Yeah, because it's not from Brianna, it sounded like she came into this country as a baby. And was never got her citizenship or something.
She was one of the DACA, I guess. is what she
Yeah,
was.
and so then, she's in her mid-20s with a child and a husband and can't come back.
so they're here, the child and the husband are here, and she's down there. How long has this been going on? She's been trying to come back?
It was just for the last couple weeks.
Oh, right.
We knew it was a possibility when we planned this program. And so, that's why we made the
Recording.
option of a recording, and why we're holding it in the library, and making it a sharing event. And so, she'll still be able to share her story, but it is taped. And we're inviting the community to come hear about someone's firsthand experience with this, having lived their entire life in the US, and
It'll be a while before she can come
Yeah.
back, if at all.
right. And there will be food provided by King Torta. And so Steve, who was just here with the agendas, this is a program series that he helped with quite a bit, helped arrange, and this is the final one of that Oregon Humanities Grant
Oh,
series.
great.
But holding this one in the library this
Yeah.
time.
Unfortunately, I have another commitment, but
Me
Great.
too. I would love to have seen it.
Yeah. So I did wanna just get the word out about it
Yeah,
and tell people
that's
about it so that we have some folks. I'll pass this around, that's the
Okay.
info that's on our website and in the library, you can take a picture of it if you want. But,
Okay.
that is it for my report.
Okay, library statistics, unless there are any questions on Robin's report? Okay, library statistics,
Yeah, I actually delved into this a little bit because I was surprised to see a dip in checkouts. It's just it's not that having a dip in checkouts would be unusual overall, given the current climate of people, you know, maybe using the library differently. I think people who do electronic checkouts don't check out a stack. You know, like they're in the library, they'll check out a stack. If it's electronic, it's usually one at a time or so.
Mhm.
I mean, from what I understand.
so,
So I guess I sort of expected with the rise in electronic checkouts that our physical circulation might go down a little, but it really hasn't. We have consistently had an increase every month. And so we have a decrease the last 2 months, and this one was quite a bit even more than from the year before, from last month. So I looked into it a little and I did find a few clear reasons why that happened. And then I have some speculation about some other possible reasons. One is that we added much fewer books in July of this year than we did the previous July, and so we only added 96 new items in July 2024 and 300 and something in July 2023.
Oh,
oh,
And so there's always a month with a lower materials adding around the end or beginning of the fiscal year. And this year it was in July, and last year might have been June. And so it was felt sort of in a different month than last year. And that's just because of acquisitions, turnover stuff. And there may have been a little workflow break or, slow down also, but whatever the reason, I did look through several months and compared the years previous with our statistics. We keep detailed statistics of our libraries, how many items we add, how many items we take out from weeding, our different usage. I can pass around, like here's the two past fiscal years. And so I did see a relationship between new items added and checkouts. It's pretty
oh, isn't that
clear
funny? Yeah.
for the next month though. And so I can say with confidence that that is one of the reasons it was lower. And then the other, what was the other reason I saw? Oh, well. The other thing I noticed was our door count and our electronic checkouts were both higher,
yeah, I found that
which
interesting
was
that,
very.
I
Yeah.
found that, I noticed the door count was up, or the visitors was up a pretty good amount, but the
Mhm.
circulation was down, yeah,
Yeah, and so, beside the, items added, I think just the way the library is used when there's more electronic checkouts might, I'm thinking that might be a reason. And we thought maybe more people were out of town this summer than in previous years, but we don't know that for sure.
I actually, when I looked at it and thought about it, I mean, I hadn't, but the visitors to me is almost more important than the books in today's
Well-
world, because they're using. That means they're not necessarily checking something out,
But
but they're
they-
using the services
To a
and
point.
then that's,
But there
The-
was a thing this year with people going around to each one of the libraries to find
Yes.
where's Wallace.
Wallace the Book Bud,
Yeah,
visiting the
Yeah.
library,
Oh,
and that's
yeah.
great.
and so I know I saw a lot of people come in on Wednesday
Oh,
mornings
well,
doing
that's-
that.
well,
And they
that's-
weren't there to check out a book, they just wanted to
Yeah.
find Wallace.
well,
That's
And
true.
check out the place, but
Yeah, yeah, I would say that not all the visitors checked out
Yeah.
items, but that's okay. I mean, using our space is fine,
you know,
a use.
actually on the circulation, you could have a couple of. Well, some people check out, I noticed from when I worked here, vast quantities
Yes.
of
Yes.
books.
We happen to have a
And
few
a couple
people
of those.
out of town.
A couple of those people
Larry's out of town.
could be
right
out
now.
of town.
I don't, it's a public meeting, so I didn't wanna get,
No, I'm not talking
breach
about,
anyone's privacy, but I was gonna say we.
No,
this-
sorry.
But the staff thinks that. We're confident that one of the reasons is also that a few heavy library users were away.
Yeah,
And that affected our circulation, cause
Yeah.
we're so small that a few people
Yes.
being
Yeah.
gone actually
Yeah.
does, so I'm
Yeah.
gonna say. I'm trying to figure out a way to say it, without,
you've already
Um,
said it fine.
okay. Anyway, but so basically fewer new items
Yeah.
and a few heavy users being gone. We think made a difference, and so I will keep watching it and,
Mm.
doing research to
But the
see.
visitors to me offsets even I didn't
We
know
have
about the
an
game.
increase in electronic
think that's
checkouts
Pretty,
and
pretty good.
more.
And there is a lot of the story time people that don't necessarily get any books.
Really
Yeah, a few of them.
interesting,
Most of them, they come with a stack of kids' books, you know,
yeah,
but a lot of them,
I wonder if they have library cards, I should check,
oh, that's a good idea. I assume they do.
me too, but. That's good to know, Bridget, I haven't paid attention to that. On
Well, it seems
Wednesday.
like it's the same 3 or 4 people that are bringing books back each time during story time.
Okay,
Pretty good.
So- any other questions about the statistics?
No, any questions on statistics? No, so we'll move on to the finance report.
Okay, that was the countywide one.
We don't wanna look at it with our number down. We
Well, I mean, there were,
Go past. it.
Cornelius was down more than us, so, no. I don't know, but anyway.
Yeah.
All right. So this financial report's due the end of August. And, I will say my biggest update to the finance report is that we have a new accountant in the city, Kristen Gearhart, who started Monday. And is very experienced from the Metropolitan. Oh boy, Russ told me how to say it, Communications Association, MAC. And was their finance manager
Oh,
and is, very experienced in all the kinds of accounting we need here in the city. And so we will see some updates soon of our expenses being entered into the city's journal entries, but we keep our own internal spreadsheet, so except for utilities, we're up to date. Utilities just haven't been recorded in a while, but we are paying them.
good.
And our programming and library materials budgets are reflecting actual spending, and we're on track for everything.
Okay, the next one is any questions on the finances? Okay, we'll move on to WCCLS funding and governance update, which I heard you say really that you didn't receive a report at this time that you're anticipating.
Well, I was anticipating a report to share with you, but I will, and I did go over some of the upcoming milestones, which are the presentation to the Board of Commissioners, that's the next, and the beginning those work sessions on the future state.
Mhm.
So you're correct, I did sort of go over that already.
Okay. So any questions on that? Okay, we'll move on to new business, the review election guidelines for elected and non-elected city officials.
So we had a letter from our city attorney. To, as a refresher for everybody. On election guidelines, and North Plains hasn't had a contested local election in a while, so our city attorney thought it would be a good refresher for all the boards and commissions and city council. To understand your role and what is allowed and not allowed as far as political activity. Excuse me.
So this is the first election you've had for a long time, two people running against each other?
Well, there's a whole pack that's running.
No, I know there's two.
So since I've been
I was
direct,
wondering what you define the contested election.
well, there's city council seats that have opposing people going for them, and that wasn't the case since I've been here.
Oh, there's always
as
just been
director.
one person.
And they've been lucky to get one person at times to some of the
Yeah,
seats, so.
okay.
Correct. So now, so we have, two individuals running for mayor. We have, and then we have 3 city council seats that have, 2 people running.
Yeah.
For each of those seats, so, and so there, it's kind of the talk of the town right now with that election coming up. And so there's just a few, differences with roles of appointed officials and elected officials. There's a difference in what's allowed as far as political activity. And you all are appointed officials, which means that as such, for this particular for political activity, you're considered like city staff when you're at a meeting and in your role as library board members, chair and co-chair, etc. When you're not in your, so in this meeting right now, you would fall under that staff protocol, the same roles, which we'll talk about. And then when you're out in community and you're on your own time and so forth, you can say, I'm a library board member, but I'm not speaking for the, like, we can say, I'm Donna Medica, or vice chair of the city's library board. And I support so-and-so, but because you're not in a board meeting or doing board business, you can use your title. You just have to say you're speaking as an individual, not representing your body. You just have to make that clear somehow. So you could be,
Like maybe not even say.
you could say, I mean, yeah,
Okay.
but like, just be conscious of that. Or if someone knows your position, to be say, I'm not speaking for the library board right now.
Mhm.
Just that little caveat. It's like me if I said, well, I don't live in the community here, but I could say I was doing political activity in my own neighborhood, and I said, I'm the North Plains Library Director. I'm what I identify myself.
Mhm.
I could do that. I would just say, I'm not representing the city of North Plains,
Right.
Yeah.
So, now elected officials is different. When we have our ex officio here, though, they can talk about that they're running and so forth, but they can't tell anyone else how to vote. When you're in your role as library board, they wouldn't be able to say, vote for me, because it'd be like telling a staff person that they had to vote
Oh,
for
I
them.
see.
But they're elected, so they don't have the same restrictions an appointed board has. They can campaign for themselves with, I'm city councilor so-and-so, and I'm You know, they can be out saying, vote for me, vote for me. In general, just
Mhm.
not in.
Not to tell their,
And they could even say, hey, Bridget, vote for me, but if you're not in a library board meeting, you're not, you don't have that stat hat on,
yeah,
right?
So
So you as,
they can they campaign here, or they're not even supposed to,
not in a meeting,
not in a meeting? Okay.
yeah, anyway, so just, so the letter is. Public employees while on the job, like what public employees can do. And that applies to you, when you're representing the
Mhm.
board. So, and then you may not, when you're doing work hours, distribute, political material, uh, prepare correspondence on behalf of candidates. We can't, staff can't even write certain, like we can't even announce certain things, like the actual city councilors have to write it up. Like staff can't do it, like the city manager can't write up certain things as staff, it has to be the elected people. You can't, like the city manager couldn't write a resolution that advocates a political position.
that makes sense.
Yeah. And so here's, staff cannot prepare or give recommendations to the governing body urging which way to vote on a resolution. So I couldn't tell you, or I couldn't tell city council, like, to vote for something. Appointed officials, you all, you are considered public employees when you're acting in your official capacity, so those are your same rules. So, once a ballot measure certified, you can't campaign for that while you're acting as a board member. And you can't support or oppose candidates, including yourself. If you're running for library board, you know, you can't at a meeting say, vote for me, to everyone. And you could be on a duty assigned by your board, like Larry, for example, representing you all on the RAC. Wouldn't be able to do political activity. And of course, on your personal time, just like you do whatever you want voluntarily. They recommend you keep a record of political activity. You do, just in case you're asked about it. I don't think it'll come to that, but you know, whatever you think is appropriate.
Did we receive this letter?
It is part of
Did we?
your agenda
Oh,
packet.
something I didn't read.
Yeah, it's in your agenda
Okay.
packet, so you have it.
I will go back and read it now.
Yeah. But you could write a letter to the editor that contains political advocacy as long as you do it on your own time. And you could use your title, you just have to make it clear that you're using it to identify yourself. Not for, not that you're not representing the position. And then elected officials are not considered public employees, so they can advocate for a political position anytime. Except, you'll see in the bottom part, they can vote to support or oppose measures, perform campaign activity. They just can't involve any public employee work time while they're doing campaign activity. And they can use their own designated space for all their activities. They just can't direct or request that any public employee or appointed person perform any political activity on their behalf, such as preparing advocacy materials, including speeches, letters, resolutions, voters pamphlets, or have an opinion piece or letter advocating a political position published in a public newspaper, distribute or newsletter distributed by public employees, like the city newsletter. Because that wouldn't be allowed. So elected officials can campaign in most ways and do most political activity. Just they can't take staff time, or they can't use staff time for it in any form. And then they can't require staff to distribute for them. So does anyone have any questions about it? I think the attorney laid it out pretty clearly,
Yeah,
but please do read through it if you
Pretty
have
much
it.
common sense, isn't it?
Yeah, it
If you
makes
think about
sense.
it. Mhm.
I think so. It's just that people make mistakes by accident on it. It's nothing against them. It's just there are a few things that maybe wouldn't be common sense, or maybe just
Yeah.
easy to confuse, so. Just wanted to,
It's a good thing to review.
we're reviewing it with all the boards and commissions, like I said, council reviewed it Monday.
Yeah.
And so thank you. We don't want there to be any election problems or
Right,
complaints.
yeah.
We want the process to go smoothly.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Any questions on the update on our political activity?
Guidelines. Guidelines.
No,
No?
no, we're good there then. All right, move on to Friends of the Library update.
so I was unable to attend the meeting, but Brianna went in our place, and with and so I don't have an update aside from I did hear that their budget is above or their fundraising is above expectations, which is good news.
Yeah,
And that their president had an injury and is having some procedure to help with that, so.
injury working,
No, just.
not moving books around.
No, not related to the position, just so,
I mean,
she just
that
will
could be
be
not so good.
unavailable for
Yeah,
a
I mean,
while.
I think that could happen.
Yeah.
I've seen some of them.
So having.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, did we get a list of our
Oh.
meeting dates?
I didn't send anything in.
So I resent out the email and I plugged in, you had the two you were willing to do.
Right.
And then Bridget told me before we started the meeting, I think we're fine, we're squared away.
Okay,
Yeah, and I heard from Ally.
and Ally, you're doing next
Yeah.
month, is that right?
Ally's doing October.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So which ones were empty then that I'm doing there?
There's about 12, I believe.
No, there's actually not. There's only a few because there's some that are canceled for various reasons. So you'll have your choice of a couple.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
but we're all fine on it.
okay. The mayor's comments that you have to share with us.
Sure. So one of them was the relook committee list. And so just if you wanted to look at it a little, we've got quite a cross section of individuals, some with expertise that's needed for any kind of land use advisory committee, and then some people who are not inside the city limits, some people who voted against the referendum in May, and some who voted for it, some landowners, someone who cannot vote due to citizenship, like an expat resident, and there was one spot that wasn't finalized, but that it will be announced shortly.
What's a resident, yes or no? They just didn't want to say which way they.
It could be, they're just saying for that spot, they could have voted either way
Oh,
or not
okay.
voted. It didn't matter for that spot. They wanted to make sure they're representing both sides. but, and then some different geographic areas also.
Charlie Hopewell, the major employer, and what is the business that?
I'm
Yeah, I was
afraid,
gonna ask the same
I'm
thing.
afraid I'm.
Have you heard of
I'm
him?
afraid I don't know.
Okay,
Have you heard of him?
Do you know who it is,
Ally?
Ally? No? Mm-mm.
okay. Thank you. Anything else from that?
Oh, yes, and one other thing, she wanted me to update you on the city manager recruitment. So they had an executive session to discuss, the applicants, and they narrowed it down to 5,
Oh,
and one,
they have the 10
they
to
started
5
with 24.
Oh, wow.
total, right, but
Total.
the committee, the hiring consultant came back with supposedly with 10, or did the council narrow it down to 10?
That I don't remember, I'm sorry.
Okay. That's all right.
I think, well, I know that the council got to look at the full 24, so
Yeah.
I
okay,
think that they were involved in that, getting it down to 10, and then
Okay,
in the executive session, I got it down to 5, and one person dropped out due
Ooh,
to
down to
another
4.
opportunity, so now there's 4.
oh, okay,
And the names will be announced Friday.
Oh, and so then do they have to do a meet and greet sort of?
Yep, there's gonna be 3 interviews, one in an executive session with city council. One with subject matter experts like other city managers and other and so forth. Government, people that would be able to assess this person's capability to do the job.
Third
Third party experts,
experts
yes.
There you go.
that are involved in similar situations.
And then a third interview with the public
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
community.
So how much longer for this one?
So that it's not 100% confirmed, but the date that Rob Drake told me and that I put on my calendar, because I'm very interested in who will be my new boss, was October. Oh, no, September 30th.
Oh,
Monday, September 30th was the possible date for that city manager, applicants, candidates
to
to meet the public
Oh, the public.
at Jesse Mays. I'm assuming it'll be 6, but I don't have a time, and that date is not 100% confirmed yet, but Monday, September 30th is what I penciled in. And so I heard that they all have really great qualifications, all 4 from Mayor Lenahan.
Oh, good.
And at least some experience working in Oregon too.
Oh, that's a plus too.
okay, great.
And that is my update from Mayor Lenahan. And she said, reach out to her anytime with any other questions about
Okay.
city.
Anything good in the order, general announcements?
Well, I have a little question about the little library. I just now thought about it, the little,
Sure.
it sounded like there was a problem with it and it had to be fixed. Is that all?
Yeah, I will
Cool.
say as part of, so that there was a problem, a sprinkler got somehow moved to spray directly into the outpost and was ruining both. And on September 1st, that park became under city management.
Oh,
It was under HOA management, but at the 1st of September now, and so Cody, our public works staff, went out there and adjusted the sprinkler, so it should not be doing that anymore. But there is some cosmetic issues with it due to the water damage that still need to be addressed. The public works has some really pressing deadlines for inspecting pipes, water, things that really are
bigger.
that
things, yeah.
unfortunately we couldn't prioritize the outpost, and it still needs a little bit of more sealing with the rainy season coming, but that issue that was ruining books should be solved. Thanks for asking, yeah.
Mhm.
And I do have one general announcement. The state librarian, Wendy Cornelison, visited our library yesterday.
Oh.
She touched that library card behind Chair. We took a picture with our giant library card for library card sign up month. But Emily West, who works with the state library on a few things, invited her, and she's trying to visit all the libraries. She's been
Right.
state librarian for 2.5 years. And she had a lovely visit, and so you can see, we posted some photos. I might have one I can pull up.
Is it on Facebook then?
It is on Facebook. And I emailed some photos to myself, don't mind my emails. Who knows if I can even find them now. I probably went to other. Oh, I know where they are.
Oh, that's
There's
cute.
one. Can you all see it online? No? Okay, just a sec.
I saw it on my Facebook, but I can't see it on the screen.
Okay, I just have to share a different thing. There's Emily with Wendy
And Wallace.
and Wallace and Buzz B. And that was pretty exciting. And they're both from Tennessee.
Oh,
Always.
Wallace the book bug is here.
Oh,
and
that's what
Buzz
people
B.
were trying to
Yeah,
find.
yeah.
see the little poster over here? That's
Ah.
Wallace. All the different stickers you could collect from the different libraries.
Oh,
There's a different sticker, different Wallace sticker at each library.
Did they get something if they filled that in?
There were prizes, but that part is over. So you can still do it, but it's for fun now. The prizes were for a limited time, limited quantity.
Well, there's a lot of people that were doing it. Yeah.
very good. Okay, anything else? Well, if there's nothing else, the next meeting is October 16th, 6 o'clock. And
It is all three of my kids' first band performance of the year that evening, of course. So I may have another staff
So-
member, joining you.
In October or
Um,
November.
October.
that's fine.
So December, there's no date? We don't have a meeting then?
We don't.
Yeah.
Our city recorder wanted me to check in with you all about your, what your preference is for December, have a meeting or not, so she can.
It's okay not to. I mean, there's so many things
haven't been-
happening.
we-
I think it's fine not to.
Yeah,
It's been the
The tradition.
tradition for this,
Yeah.
board to do something maybe social instead that month.
Yeah,
mhm.
So you all can think about what you'd like to do. I hope there might be some other opportunity
Might
like
have
last
been.
year, but there might not be,
so the
just
city,
because
new
of-
city manager might want to do it to meet people too.
exactly, I'm not,
So we'll keep
I'm not
it,
sure.
we
Well,
don't
I
really,
think
I don't
the
think we
parents
need
for
to
Trudy and I
decide
would be
till,
the appropriate
oh, that would be
time.
fun.
till November. We'll decide in,
Decide
we'll have
in
more-
November.
yeah,
Okay.
we have more information. then.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay,
Okay, well, thank you, everybody.
thank you.
We'll see you next
October.
Wednesday, October 16th, 6 o'clock.
Sure, it's 6:55. Wow.
Thank you, Nandu.
All right.
Thank
I'm gonna end
you.
the meeting.
Bye.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hi,